Chapter 14. Rachel and Cassie took off, heading in different directions. "Have a good show," Cassie called to Rachel. "Yeah, right," Rachel said grumpily. "I'll be there soon," Marco told Rachel. "Don't fall off any balance beams until I get there." Rachel shot Marco one of her "you're a dead man if you mess with me" looks and disappeared, leaving just Marco, Jake, and me. "She really kind of likes me," Marco said, with a wink at Jake and me. "Uh-huh," Jake commented dryly. "Look, Tobias, if we're going to do this mission, it can't be till the weekend." "Why?" "The timing. We have to morph to travel up there. There are no buses, and we can't walk that far in human bodies. Even as wolves, though, it takes time. It took more than an hour last time. It just seemed to me that we might want to get up there in the morning, camp out somewhere hidden, and then be ready by afternoon when the Yeerks show up. And this time, we may want to travel around the other wolf pack's territory," Marco pointed out. "I don't want to get into it with them again." It made sense. "I guess you're right. So if you're gonna go to camp early in the day, you need a Saturday. Anyway, it might be a good idea if we had as much information about the area as we can get." Jake gave me a thoughtful look. "So I was thinking..." "Yeah," I interrupted. "I'll spy out the situation. I'll look for some place you can hide. I have a lot of time on my hands. Not hands exactly, but lots of time." Marco and Jake both laughed. I think Marco was surprised that I could make a joke about myself. I saw an intense look in Jake's eyes. He was wondering if I was okay. "I'm cool," I thought spoke privately to him, so Marco couldn't hear. "I was just a little weirded out by watching you all struggle to get out of those wolf morphs." He raised an eyebrow and nodded. He had been upset too. I could imagine. I suspected there has been a lot of nightmares over that mess. "Okay, so now what?" Marco asked. "Do I sneak into the mall without Rachel being able to see me? Or do we all sit around and play Doom?" "I have homework," Jake said. "And trust me, Marco, if Rachel sees you at the mall making faces while she's on the balance beam, she will turn into an elephant and stomp you." Marco winced. "Remember the good old days when all a girl could do to you was call you names?" I flew off, leaving them to play video games or do homework or however they ended up killing time. Either way, it wasn't something I could participate in. It's kind of a shame, really. With my eyesight and the reaction time I have, I could probably be major competition in Doom. But joysticks and control pads aren't made for talons. I swooped out to the cool afternoon. I drifted around for a while. I checked out Chapman's house. Chapman is our assistant principal. He's also one of the highest ranking controllers. When we had first learned that Chapman was one of them, he was ordering a Hork-Bajir to kill any of us who were caught. He told the Hork-Bajir to save our heads for identification. Not the kind of thing you expect to hear, even from an assistant principal. But it turned out things were more complicated than we thought. Chapman had joined the Yeerks, but he had done it in part to save his daughter Melissa. Melissa would be at the gymnastics thing with Rachel, at the mall. Remembering the mall made me sad. It was just another one of the places I couldn't go anymore. There's a long list. School, movie theaters, amusement parks. Wait a minute. I could go to the amusement park. I wouldn't even have to pay admission. The thought made me happy. I don't know why. It was like I could ride the roller coaster. It wasn't like I could ride roller coasters, but still, the idea kind of perked me up. I could bus right into the gardens anytime I wanted. Come to think of it, I could also watch any football or baseball game I ever wanted to see, too, as long as it was outdoors. And concerts. Whoa, big stadium concerts, no problem. No tickets needed. That's the way I need to be thinking. There were millions of things I could do as a bird that I couldn't do as a human. But not right now. I turned and headed towards the mountains. I had a job to do. There's another good thing about being me. I was the ultimate airborne spy. There was a long line of towering clouds running to the mountains. Perfect weather for me. Thermals are what pushed those clouds up so high. I just let myself get into it. It wasn't a bad life, not really. I was flying. Back when I was in my old body, I used to look up at the sky and wish I could fly, and now I could. I figured there were probably kids down on the ground right now looking up at me and thinking, wow, that would be so cool. If only I had something to eat. I was feeling a little hungry. Should have asked Jake to grab me a snack. It happened before I even really had time to think about it. I guess it was because I was feeling good, feeling relaxed. I was above the woods, just a half a mile or so beyond Cassie's farm. The trees opened up to form a little meadow. This is what red tails love. A little meadow. It was full of prey. Squirrels scouring the ground for nuts, hopping, then sitting up on their hind legs to look around nervously. Mice that scurried from hole to hole. Rabbits. A rat. My eyes focused on it with absolute intensity. I sort of shrugged one shoulder, turned sharply in midair, and plummeted toward the earth in a stoop. My wings were back. My head was low. My talons tucked back for maximum speed. Sudden flare. I opened my wings, the shock of the air. Talons raked forward, eyes never moving even a millimeter off the rat. Focus! I struck. An incredible rush of excitement surged through me. I was ecstatic. Ecstatic. That's the only word for it. It was intense beyond anything I'd ever experienced. Talons hit warm flesh. My razor claws squeezed. The rat squirmed in my grip, but it was helpless. Helpless. I was in a frenzy. I hooded my wings around my kill, shielding it from any other predator who might want to steal it away. No. I fell back. I looked down at my talons. They were red with blood. Rat meat dripped from my beak. In my panic, I forgot what I was. I tried to run away, but I no longer had legs and feet to run with. I had killing talons, bloody talons. I fell in the dirt. No, I cried voicelessly, but I could still see the dead rat, and I could taste it. And no matter how many times I said no, it would always be yes. Chapter 15. I flew. I flew as fast as hard as I could. I wanted to go so fast that the memory of killing and eating the rat would be left way behind me. But not even I can fly that fast. Human. I'm human. I'm Tobias. I don't know why it was Rachel I wanted to see right at that moment. Maybe she was just the closest thing I had to a real friend. Maybe it was the way she had seemed so sure of who and what I was. I needed someone to be sure. Down below I saw the huge, irregular rectangles of the mall. I saw a glass door. People streamed in and out. Rachel, that's where she was. Sir! I screamed in rage and frustration and terror as I stooped. I shot toward the door like I'd shot toward the rat. But I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to slow down. I was just going to end this right now. I would hit the glass at full speed, and maybe that would awaken me from this nightmare. The speed just kept building. The door rushed up at me. The earth itself was jumping up to hit me. A guy, dark hair, short, stepped to the door. He opened it. Shoop. I must have been doing 80 as I hurled through the open door. A second set of doors, but these were open too. No impact. No awakening. Colors and bright lights all around me, like high-speed kaleidoscope. The Gap, Express, the Body Shop, Easy Spirit, Mrs. Fields. Zoom. I was a bullet blazing inches over the heads of the shoppers. I heard screams. I heard cries of amazement. I didn't care. I wanted to hit something. I wanted to wake up. I wanted to fall to the ground because my wings had disappeared and been replaced by clumsy legs and flailing arms. I wanted to be me again. I'm human. I'm Tobias. 9 West, Radio Shack, B. Dalton, Benetton. A world I knew. A world where I belonged. Places I had been. Food I had eaten. The world of human beings. Zoom. Suddenly, in seconds, I was in the center of the mall. A crowd was standing around in a circle. In the middle of the circle, blue mats were on the floor. Girls in leotards were doing mid-air flips and graceful backbends. People on the upper level were crowded around the railing to look down. Rachel was on the balance beam. She was raising one leg, balancing on the other. I was a brown and gold and red missile shooting past her. Tobias, she cried. Straight ahead, a wall, a blank wall, where they were going to put a new shop. I was still moving fast. I could still hit it and wake myself up from this nightmare. No, Rachel cried. I flared and shot straight up. The wall scraped my stomach. The ceiling was glass, a skylight. I was there. A last-second turn, almost too late. My shoulder hit the glass. I bounced off and began to fall down toward the mesmerized faces staring at me with horror and amazement and pity. I saw Rachel's face in that crowd. Her eyes pleaded silently. "No," she mouthed. "No." I fell, stunned and dazed. Rachel, still balanced on the beam, caught me as I dropped. She fell off, and the two of us tumbled onto the mat. "You have to get out of here," Rachel muttered tersely. "I killed," I cried. "You don't understand, Rachel. I'm lost. I killed." "No, as long as you have me and the others, you aren't lost, Tobias." Helping hands were clawing, trying to save Rachel from the crazed, out-of-control bird. She gave me a heave, just enough to get me into the air. Anyone watching would have thought she was just trying to get me off of her. I flapped up, just out of reach of a dozen hands that clawed the air trying to grab me. Someone threw a shopping bag at me. I dodged. But there was no escape. Overhead I saw the skylight, blue sky. The hawk in my head wanted the sky. I knew safety was up in the high blue. The hawk powered straight up at the glass that he didn't understand. The glass that would be like a brick wall. But I couldn't fight it anymore. The hawk had won. I had killed and eaten. And I had loved it. The ecstasy of the hunt. Ecstasy. In a second it would all be over. One more stroke of my powerful wings, and the glass. Out of the corner of my eye I saw a familiar face on the upper level. Suddenly, something shot past me. Small, white, stitched. Crash. The baseball hit the glass just inches ahead of my beak. Just where Marco had aimed it. Glass shards fell around me. I shot through the hole. Sky. The hawk flew fast and straight. I let it go. I surrendered. Tobias, a boy whose face I could no longer remember, no longer existed. Chapter 16. The next few days were like a long, slow dream. I stayed away from Jake's house. I did not communicate with my friends. I disappeared. I found a place for myself. It was perfect red-tailed territory. The place where I had made my first kill. A nice meadow surrounded by trees. Not far off was a marshy area that was good too. Although there was another red-tail who had territory over there, so I couldn't hunt there often. I spent my days hunting. Sometimes I would ride the high, hot winds and watch the meadow. Sometimes I would sit in a tree and watch till some unwary creature ventured out. Then I would swoop down on it, snatch it up, kill it, eat it with the blood that was still warm. Days were easier than nights. During the day, I was hunting almost all the time. It keeps you busy because most of the time you miss. It can take quite a few tries before you make a kill. Nights were worse. I couldn't hunt at night. The nights belonged to other predators, mostly the owls. At night, my human mind would surface. The human in my head would show me memories, pictures of human life, pictures of his friends. The human in my head was sad, lonely. But the human Tobias really just wanted to sleep. He wanted to disappear and let the hawk rule. He wanted to accept that he was no longer human. Still, at night, as I sat on my familiar branch and watched the owls do their silent, deadly work, the human memories would play in my head. But other memories were there too. I remembered the female hawk, the one who had been in the cage. I knew where her territory was, near a clear lake in the mountains. So one day I flew there, to the mountain lake. I saw her down on a tree branch. She was watching a baby raccoon, preparing to go for a kill. She would have to be very hungry to go for a raccoon, no matter how small. Raccoons are very tough, very violent creatures. As I watched, unnoticed by her, she swooped. The raccoon spotted her. A quick dodge left, and the hawk sailed harmlessly past. The baby raccoon ran for the edge of the woods. His mother was there. No hawk was crazy enough to go after a full-grown raccoon. That was not a fight a hawk was going to win. She settled back on her branch. I floated overhead, waiting to see if she would spot me, and waiting to see what she would do when she did notice me. I had to be cautious. She was a female, and females are a third bigger on average than males. Suddenly I saw fast movement in the woods, a chase. It was always kind of exciting watching a kill, even by another species. It heightened my own hunting edge. The prey was running awkwardly on its two legs, running and threading its way past the underbush. It stumbled and hit the ground hard. It seemed very slow to get up. It ran again. I could hear gasping breath. It was weakening. The prey was squealing, loud, yelping vocalizations. Prey often squeal. The predator moved on 2 legs also, but these legs were built for greater speed. It had blades growing from its arms. It used the blades to slash the bushes and weeds. It cleared its way through them like a lawnmower chopping down tall grass. Lawnmower? No, something else. Salad shooter. Yes, that's what Marco called them. Marco? The image came to my mind. Short, dark hair, human. It hit me like a lightning bolt. Suddenly I realized, this prey was a human. Why should I care? It was prey. That was the way it worked. Predator killed prey. No, it was a human being. Help. Help! That was the vocalization. It meant something. Help! Help me! The predator was very close. In a few seconds, he would make his kill. The predator was powerful. The predator was swift. Hork-Bajir. Help me! Someone help! I don't know how to describe what happened next. It was like my entire world flipped over. Like 1 minute, it was one thing, one way, and then boom, it was something totally different. It was like opening your eyes after a dream. The prey was a human being. The predator was a Hork-Bajir. This was wrong. Wrong! It had to be stopped. I stopped. A few seconds earlier, I was thinking that no insane hawk would go after a full-grown raccoon. Now I was going after a Hork-Bajir. Hork-Bajir compared to raccoons like nuclear bomb compares to a bow and arrow. It would have to be the eyes. The eyes were the only weak spot. Seer! I rocketed toward the Hork-Bajir. The human slipped and fell again. Talons forward. The Hork-Bajir was totally focused on his prey. I hit him fast and hard and sailed past. Grrr! The Hork-Bajir yelled. He clutched at his eyes. The human was up and running again. Grrr, grrr, fresh. To me, getting away. Hilschner. Hork-Bajir yelled in a strange combination of human and alien speech that they use when working with humans. He was calling for help. I used my momentum to soar up over the tops of the trees. He had plenty of help available. Another Hork-Bajir about 1,000 yards off, and 2 of the bogus park rangers were nearer. It was all coming back to me. The fake park rangers, the Hork-Bajir enforcers. This was the lake. A Yerk supply ship must be on its way in. Yerks, Andalites, my friends, the Animorphs. Yes, my friends. I remembered now. But this human was not one of them. This human prey was older, a stranger. The freed hawk was watching me. I can almost feel her drawing me towards her. It was like a magnet. She was my kind. She was like me. But the park rangers were in hot pursuit of the human now. The human was nothing like me. Poor, clumsy ground runner that he was just prey. And yet, for some reason, I couldn't let him be prey. I couldn't. Me, Tobias.